Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Glad you're here. We're going to do our daily review, even though the markets are still open, because we are done for the day. Had a good day today, stuck to the plan. So 2 out of 3 days now, we've stuck to our new trading plan on the initial balance. And the 2 days that we stuck to the plan, we made money. The day that we didn't, we lost. That should tell you something. Stick to your plan. Before we get into it, guys, gals, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below about the content I put out. You know, if there's anything I can do to improve it, I certainly will try. But the channel is slowly, but steadily growing, and, that's a good sign. So let's just jump into the numbers today. Now, well, one other thing before we get to it. Of all days, when I decide to stick to my plan, what happens with Project X? Yep, trade outages. Luckily, Easel let me know that his Project X had locked up on him, and this was just before I was about ready to start looking for my entries. So, thankfully, we knew Project X was down, not just a few minutes after Easel told me. It started blowing up in the Discords and everywhere else that Project X was having problems again. So I just decided not to trade my top 1 accounts today because they're all on Project X, and I just wasn't going to take the chance, right? All right, so let's jump on over to the charts and take a look at what happened today. So we are up on the day $259. Whoops, let me show you. So we're up on the charts $259 because we only traded our Tradeify account today. Okay. So something happened today that I'm glad I noticed. I wish I had traded it correctly on YM. Now we're moving fair value gaps around. Shit. So YM, let's just take a look. We had this bullish fair value gap here, and we had this inverted fair value gap right there. Okay. So that became an inverted gap when we pushed up, and that was my key because this fair value gap held. We pushed up, inverted this gap. That is a strong signal. We did buy on the close of this candle because we pushed up past the 2.5, the 25% level of the initial balance. We also inverted this fair value gap, and I bought, and then we came down, and for some reason I closed this trade somewhere in here, rebought, closed again. I was mainly focused on the 25% level, and just wasn't paying attention to the gap midline or the SMAs. If I just looked below this, I would have noticed what was going on, and I would have held on to the first trade. At this point, we were like a $74 loss on the day. I believe we had made a little bit of money on gold at that point. So yeah, but then as soon as, we got our, well, I won't say as soon as we got the color change, after this loss, I was like, you know what, just wait for the initial balance to break, because here's the key. We came up and didn't break the high, didn't break the initial balance here, okay? And my A++ setup is breaking the initial balance, a pullback to the 25, and taking the long from here up. Well, we didn't break the initial balance, but we did have our pullback. And that pullback got us to the 25% level. Now, with the fair value gap being created here at the 25% level, because if I take this inverted gap off the chart, you can see we made a 5-minute fair value gap right here. Okay. On the push up through the 25% level. Now, these 25% levels act just the same as dealing range levels in ICT concepts. So knowing that we didn't break the high yet, but we had our pullback into the gap that was created at the 25% level, as long as this gap holds and is not inverted by a close below it, then we are looking to go break the top of the dealing range. Okay. So I put in a limit order up here. I wasn't going to wait for another pullback because we already had it. If it pulled back again, fine. We'd re-enter the trade at the 25 again after being stopped out. But I didn't expect that to happen. What I did expect to happen did happen. Okay. So we got entered here. We got up above this pivot point. We came back on this candle to retest the pivot point and the initial balance high. We held and pushed through, color change off of those two key levels. And I ended up closing the trade right at the top of this candle here, just a little shy of the target, which was the average excursion. Okay. So that was YM. Now, NQ and ES made similar moves, came up towards the high, pulled back past the 25, actually touched the 50, and then started rising again. Limit order was set at the initial balance high. Target profit was set at the max excursion. I closed the trade maybe 2 ticks before take profit. Okay. Same on NQ. We pushed up towards the high, pulled back to the 50, broke the high, broke through the 25 level with a fair value gap. Limit order was set at the initial balance. Target profit was set at the max excursion. Again, close that trade just a couple ticks away from take profit. Gold, we tried. We did take it on the first breakout. That's where we made a little bit of money. And sold it. We came back down, and I was wanting to see the initial balance hold. It did. We took another trade. It went up, came down, because our target was max excursion or average excursion. And I just wasn't happy with what was going on right here in this area. So I ended up closing this trade somewhere in here where it was up like $8. And then I just said, you know what? I'm not happy with the way it's reacting. I wanted to see a faster push up. I wasn't getting it. It did eventually do just that. But, well after, that move didn't really start exploding until 11:38. Okay. And I was out of all my other trades by 11:20:25. Okay. So maybe I just need to be a little bit more patient with gold. I had a good stop loss that never would have got hit. I could have just held it and taken the win, but neither here nor there. I'm okay with what happened today. I don't trade gold very often, so I'm still a little unsure of how it moves. But yeah, that's it, everybody. That's our profits for the day. There will be no trading tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I will probably come onto the charts just to watch on Friday. We'll see. I think the markets are closing at like 11 o'clock on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to see. I think it is a holiday or a half day. Kind of looking to see. Okay, yeah. So Friday is a half day. The markets are probably going to close around 11:30. So I really don't think I'm going to be taking a trade there unless we just happen to see a really strong move that breaks the initial balance right after 10:30 and maybe look to be in a trade for no longer than 20-30 minutes. I'm never going to say I won't take a trade because if the setup's there and price is moving decent, then I'm perfectly happy with taking a trade. Today was more of a grind up than I expected, but perfectly okay with it. Once we broke, we moved up a bit, and then we hit this consolidation before actually going up to target. But yeah, so I'll be on the charts on Friday morning. Seriously doubt that I'll be taking any trades, but I'll never say never, right? So we're going to call it here. We'll see everybody Friday morning. Until then, stay blessed.